The Silent Guardian. The Arctic wind howled across the desolate tundra as Dr. Sarah Chen's excavation team unearthed something that would change humanity's destiny forever. Buried beneath 300 meters of ice lay a perfectly preserved structure of impossible architecture, smooth, dark metal that seemed to drink in the light, covered in markings that defied modern linguistic analysis. "Dr. Chen, you need to see this," called Marcus, her assistant, his voice trembling with excitement. As Sarah approached the exposed section, her instruments began registering unprecedented energy readings. The structure wasn't just preserved, it was active. Before she could investigate further, the sky erupted in a flash of purple light. Massive ships materialized in Earth's orbit, their hulls gleaming with an otherworldly sheen. Humanity's first contact had arrived, but not as anyone had expected. Admiral James Torres stood in the United Earth Defense Command Center, watching as the alien vessels positioned themselves in a perfect geometric formation around the planet. The room hummed with tension as communications officers scrambled to make sense of the incoming transmissions. "Message decoded, sir," Lieutenant Rivera announced, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "They're calling themselves the Galactic Hegemony. They're demanding our immediate surrender and integration into their civilization." Torres's jaw tightened. After 20 years in the military, he had prepared for many scenarios, but this wasn't one of them. Their capabilities. "Initial scans suggest technology centuries beyond ours, Admiral. Their smallest ship could likely level a continent." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity, despite all its achievements, was hopelessly outgunned. The hegemony's message continued streaming across screens worldwide: submit or face extinction. Meanwhile, in the Arctic, Sarah's discovery was revealing its secrets. The structure's markings began to pulse with a soft blue light, responding to human presence for the first time in millennia. Her team's translators finally cracked a portion of the text: "To our children, when you are ready." "Dr. Chen," Torres's hologram materialized beside her, "I need you to tell me exactly what you found." The military had connected the dots faster than she expected. The timing of her discovery and the aliens' arrival couldn't be coincidental. Sarah explained her theories as she worked. The structure wasn't just a building, it was a control center, left behind by an advanced human civilization that had existed long before recorded history. "They knew this day would come," she said, her voice filled with wonder. "They prepared us a defense." The hegemony's ultimatum came with a 48-hour deadline. As world leaders debated their response, Sarah and Torres raced against time to unlock the ancient facility's secrets. The structure contained what appeared to be a planetary defense system, a network of similar installations hidden across the globe, waiting to be awakened. "It's not just weapons," Sarah explained to the hastily assembled UN Security Council, her hologram flickering before representatives of Earth's nations. "It's a complete defensive ecosystem. Shields, countermeasures, and technology that operates on principles we're only beginning to understand." Torres added his military assessment: "The hegemony's tactics suggest they've done this before, conquered countless civilizations through overwhelming force. But our ancestors left us a chance to break this cycle." As the deadline approached, humanity faced its most crucial decision. The hegemony's demands were clear: surrender would mean safety but subjugation. Resistance would mean war with an enemy that had never known defeat. The ancient defense system powered up slowly, each activation sequence requiring both Sarah's archaeological expertise and Torres's military guidance. It was as if their ancestors had ensured that wisdom and strength would need to work together to access this inheritance. 24 hours before the deadline, the hegemony launched a demonstration, attempting to vaporize an uninhabited island in the Pacific. The beam of energy that shot from their flagship never reached Earth's atmosphere. Instead, it dissipated against a shield that no one had known existed until that moment. In the Arctic Control Center, Sarah watched as dormant systems awakened across the planet. Humanity's forgotten guardians were rising, and with them, hope. The hegemony's demands shifted from ultimatums to uncertainty. For the first time in their history of conquest, they faced something unexpected, a prey that had teeth. Torres gathered Earth's military leaders as the last hours ticked away. "We don't need to match their technology," he explained, "our ancestors already did that for us. We just need to show them humanity won't bow to threats." As the deadline expired, Sarah made a final discovery in the ancient text: "The greatest strength lies not in the weapons we leave you, but in the unity they will forge among you. Stand together, children of Earth, and show the stars what humanity has become." The first battle for Earth's independence was about to begin, and humanity was ready to show the galaxy that they were not merely another civilization to be conquered. They were the descendants of those who had planned for this very moment, and they would not go quietly into the night. Rising storm. The hegemony's High Commander Vexthor had never seen anything like it. In 3,000 cycles of expansion, no species had ever rejected integration so effectively. He watched the holographic replay of their failed demonstration for the 12th time, mandibles clicking in frustration. "Impossible," he muttered, studying the energy readings. The shield that protected Earth wasn't just advanced, it operated on principles that contradicted hegemony physics. His science officers had no explanation for how a primitive species had deployed such technology overnight. In the Arctic Command Center, Dr. Sarah Chen was asking herself the same question. The facility hummed with power as she and her team raced to understand their inheritance. Holographic displays showed a growing network of activated sites, each one strengthening Earth's defenses. "Look at this," Sarah called to Admiral Torres, pointing to a sequence of symbols. "These aren't just defense protocols. They're teaching tools. Our ancestors didn't just leave us weapons, they left us their knowledge." Torres nodded, watching as military personnel from a dozen nations worked alongside scientists, learning to operate systems that seemed to respond intuitively to human touch. "They built all this knowing we'd need time to understand it. Question is, how long will the hegemony give us?" The answer came sooner than expected. The hegemony fleet split into attack formations, launching simultaneous strikes against multiple points in Earth's shield. Each impact released enough energy to power a small country for a year. The shields held, but Sarah noticed something concerning in the readings. "The system's adaptive," she explained to Torres, "but it's learning from each attack. If they keep testing different approaches..." She didn't need to finish the thought. Their ancestors' gift wasn't invincible, it needed humanity to master it quickly. In orbit, Vexthor received a priority transmission from the Hegemony Council. His mandibles twitched as he read their instructions: Earth's resistance could not be tolerated. Success by any means necessary was authorized. Back on Earth, an unexpected discovery changed everything. While examining data from a newly activated site in the Andes, Sarah's team found what appeared to be a weapons platform. But it wasn't designed for planetary defense, it could strike targets in deep space. "We've been thinking about this wrong," Sarah realized, calling an emergency meeting with Torres and the Joint Military Command. "The shields aren't just for protection. They're buying us time to prepare a counterattack." As if responding to humanity's growing understanding, more systems revealed themselves. Hidden factories deep beneath the oceans began producing autonomous defense units. Orbital platforms, dormant for millennia, powered up one by one. Earth was transforming into a fortress, but one with teeth. The hegemony noticed. Vexthor's fleet doubled, then tripled in size as reinforcements arrived. Their attacks grew more coordinated, probing Earth's defenses with increasing sophistication. Each assault provided them with more data, bringing them closer to finding a weakness. But humanity wasn't passive in its defense. Sarah and her international team of scientists made breakthrough after breakthrough, decoding more of their ancestors' knowledge. Military leaders from former rival nations worked together, learning to coordinate the ancient defense systems with modern strategy. "They're not just testing our shields," Torres observed, watching the hegemony's attack patterns. "They're trying to provoke us into revealing our full capabilities." He was right. The hegemony's tactics shifted from brute force to precision strikes, targeting populated areas just outside the shield's coverage. They expected Earth to react, to show its hand. Instead, humanity responded with patience, strengthening its defenses and preparing. In his flagship, Vexthor received troubling reports from his intelligence division. Other species within the hegemony were watching Earth's resistance with great interest. If humans succeeded in defying integration, others might follow their example. The stakes were no longer just about one planet, the entire stability of the hegemony was at risk. Sarah made another crucial discovery in the Arctic facility's archives. The ancestors hadn't just predicted this conflict, they had experienced it themselves. Look at these records, she showed Torres. They faced something similar, maybe even the hegemony's predecessors. That's why they went into hiding, preparing us for this moment. The revelation sparked a new understanding of their situation. Earth wasn't just fighting for independence, it was continuing a struggle that had begun millennia ago. Their ancestors hadn't hidden out of fear, they had chosen to play the long game, giving their descendants the tools to succeed where they had reached a stalemate. As the first month of conflict drew to a close, both sides prepared for escalation. The hegemony gathered the largest fleet in its history, while Earth's defenses grew stronger by the day. But the real game-changer came from an unexpected source. In the depths of the Mariana Trench, another facility activated, revealing something that changed everything: plans for vessels capable of interstellar travel, designed to take the fight to the enemy. The ancestors hadn't just built defenses, they had created the means for humanity to reach the stars. Torres gathered Earth's leaders to present a bold proposal. We can't win by just defending, he argued. The hegemony won't stop until they've conquered us or been defeated. Thanks to our ancestors, we now have the means to take the fight to them. Sarah supported his assessment with data from the ancient archives. The facilities are building ships as we speak. But more importantly, they're showing us how to build our own. We can match their technology, maybe even surpass it. As Part 2 drew to a close, humanity stood at a crossroads. The tools for both survival and victory were in their hands, but using them would mean taking an irrevocable step into a larger, more dangerous galaxy. The question was no longer whether Earth could resist the hegemony, but whether humans were ready to claim their place among the stars. The counterattack. Deep within the Mariana Trench facility, Earth's first starship took shape. The Phoenix wasn't just a vessel, it was a testament to humanity's inheritance. Its gleaming hull incorporated technology that the hegemony had never seen, built by automated systems that had waited millennia for this moment. Sarah stood beside Torres on the observation deck, watching the construction through meters of reinforced glass. Our ancestors didn't just give us the tools, she said, they gave us something the hegemony doesn't have: innovation. Every system is designed to be improved upon, not just used. The hegemony's frustration manifested in increasingly desperate attacks. Vexthor had lost face before the Council, his inability to subjugate Earth threatening his command. But as he prepared his most massive assault yet, his science officer made a disturbing discovery. High Commander, the officer's mandibles trembled as she delivered her report, we've detected anomalies in the human's genetic structure. Their DNA contains markers, similar to the precursors. The revelation shook the hegemony's leadership. The precursors were a near-mythical race that had vanished eons ago, leaving only fragments of their civilization scattered across the galaxy. If humans were their descendants, it would explain the impossible technology protecting Earth. But humanity wasn't waiting for the hegemony to solve this puzzle. The Phoenix neared completion, and with it, Earth prepared its first major offensive. Sarah's team had discovered more than just shipbuilding plans in the ancient archives, they found tactical data about the hegemony's ancestors, weaknesses that had likely been passed down through their rigid, unchanging civilization. They're perfectly hierarchical, Torres explained to the United Earth Defense Council. Every decision flows from top to bottom. Cut off the head. He didn't need to finish the sentence. The Phoenix's mission was clear: infiltrate hegemony space and strike at their command structure. Sarah made another breakthrough in understanding the ancient technology. The shields, the weapons, even the Phoenix, they're all connected to human consciousness somehow. That's why the hegemony can't replicate our defenses. The technology requires human intuition to reach its full potential. The Phoenix's crew selection reflected this discovery. Instead of choosing purely on military experience, they selected individuals who showed the strongest connection to the ancient systems. Captain Maya Rodriguez, a former shuttle pilot with an uncanny ability to interface with the new technology, was chosen to lead the mission. As the Phoenix prepared for launch, the hegemony made its move. Vexthor's fleet launched a massive, coordinated attack on Earth's shields, different from anything before. But this time, they weren't trying to break through, they were creating a diversion. Multiple quantum signatures detected. Lieutenant Rivera's voice cut through the command center's chaos. They're trying to teleport ground forces directly into major cities. But humanity's ancestors had prepared for this too. The shields didn't just stop energy weapons, they prevented any unauthorized matter transmission. The hegemony troops materialized in empty space, their atoms scattered by the defensive grid. The failed attack provided the perfect cover for the Phoenix's launch. As Vexthor's fleet regrouped, the Earth's first starship rose from the ocean's depths, its hull gleaming with technology that defied conventional sensors. Captain Rodriguez and her crew had one mission: reach the hegemony's capital world and expose their leadership's lies. During the journey, Sarah and her team made a startling discovery in the Arctic facility's deepest archives. The precursors hadn't vanished, they had become human. Faced with a similar threat in ancient times, they had chosen to hide their civilization and evolve alongside Earth's primitive humans, slowly seeding their knowledge into human DNA. We're not just fighting for Earth, Sarah realized. We're fighting for the right to choose our own path, just like our ancestors did. The Phoenix's mission soon proved more complex than expected. As they penetrated hegemony space, they discovered signs of unrest. Other subjugated species had noticed Earth's resistance, and whispers of rebellion echoed through conquered worlds. Captain Rodriguez made a decision that would change the course of the war. Instead of striking directly at the hegemony leadership, the Phoenix began making contact with potential allies. The ship's advanced technology allowed them to communicate secretly, building a network of resistance among the hegemony's supposedly loyal subjects. Meanwhile, Earth's defenses continued to evolve. Each failed hegemony attack provided data that the ancient systems used to improve their capabilities. Humanity wasn't just surviving, they were growing stronger. Vexthor sensed his control slipping away. The council demanded results, while his own officers increasingly questioned his strategies. The truth about human DNA had spread through the fleet, leading some to wonder if they were fighting a war they were destined to lose. As Part 3 drew to a close, both civilizations stood on the brink of transformation. The Phoenix's crew had discovered that victory might require more than just military strength, it would need a fundamental change in how species across the galaxy viewed themselves and each other. Sarah, working with data transmitted back from the Phoenix, began to understand the full scope of their ancestors' plan. They didn't just prepare us to fight, she told Torres. They prepared us to lead, to show the galaxy a different way forward. The stage was set for a confrontation that would determine not just Earth's fate, but the future of all spacefaring civilizations. The question was no longer whether humanity could defeat the hegemony, but whether they could forge a better alternative to its rule. Breaking point. The Phoenix's message reached Earth on a quiet Tuesday: found something. Sending coordinates. Everything we thought we knew was wrong. Captain Rodriguez's voice carried a weight that made even Torres pause. The data package that followed would shatter every assumption about the war. Deep in hegemony space, the Phoenix had discovered a massive archive facility, one that mirrored Earth's own ancient installations. But this wasn't a hegemony structure. It was precursor technology, identical to what protected Earth. The implications were staggering. "Look at these readings," Sarah's hands trembled as she showed Torres the comparison. The hegemony didn't evolve naturally into a galactic power. They were uplifted, by the same beings who prepared Earth's defenses. The truth began to emerge from both ancient archives. Millennia ago, the precursors had conducted a vast experiment. They had seeded two different approaches to civilization's development across the galaxy. Earth represented one path, natural evolution guided by subtle preparation. The hegemony was the other, direct intervention and technological gifting. Vexthor made the same discovery simultaneously, but from the hegemony's own records. His scientists finally decoded data patterns that had been hidden in their core systems for generations. The hegemony's rigid hierarchy, their drive to assimilate other species, it wasn't natural evolution. They had been engineered to expand, to test other civilizations. "We're not enemies," Sarah realized, poring over the combined data. "We're test subjects in an experiment that's been running for thousands of years." But knowledge of their shared origin only intensified the conflict. The Hegemony Council, faced with evidence that their entire civilization was an artificial construct, doubled down on their aggression. If they were created to dominate, then dominate they would. Earth faced its own crisis. The ancient defense systems, responding to the new information, began revealing more of their capabilities. It wasn't just about protection anymore, they had the power to destroy the hegemony completely. The temptation to end the war with one decisive strike grew stronger. Captain Rodriguez and the Phoenix crew found themselves in an unprecedented position. As they traveled between worlds, they discovered more species questioning their place in the hegemony. The revelation about their shared origins had sparked something new, hope for a different way of living. "The precursors didn't just give us technology," Sarah explained to an emergency session of Earth's leaders. "They gave us a choice. We can prove that freedom leads to stronger civilization than forced unity." The war reached its breaking point when a faction within the hegemony, led by Vexthor's science officer, attempted a coup. They had seen the evidence from Earth, how free development had led to innovations the hegemony's rigid structure could never produce. The resulting civil war threatened to tear their society apart. Torres recognized the opportunity and the danger. If the hegemony collapses chaotically, it'll destabilize half the galaxy. But if we help guide their transition. He let the implications hang in the air. The Phoenix's mission changed dramatically. Instead of striking at the hegemony's leadership, they began a desperate race to prevent full-scale civil war. Captain Rodriguez found herself mediating between hegemony factions, using Earth's experience as a model for how species could develop independently while still working together. Sarah made one final discovery in the Arctic facility. The precursors hadn't just been testing different paths of development, they were looking for a solution to a greater threat, one that required both Earth's adaptability and the hegemony's unity to face. "There's something coming," she told Torres, showing him data that made his blood run cold. The precursors knew they couldn't face it alone. They needed their children, all of us, to evolve different strengths. "We're not just fighting for independence anymore. We're fighting for the future of all life in the galaxy." As Part 4 concluded, humanity faced its greatest challenge yet. They had the power to destroy their enemies but the wisdom to see a better path. The question was whether they could convince others to walk it with them. The Phoenix, now joined by ships from rebellious hegemony worlds, took up position around Earth. Captain Rodriguez sent a message to all factions: "We stand at a crossroads. The precursors gave us different gifts, but they meant us to combine them, not fight over them. Earth extends an invitation to any who wish to build a new future, not as conquerors or subjects, but as equals." The galaxy held its breath, waiting to see if humanity's greatest test would end in destruction or herald the beginning of something entirely new. New dawn. The great hall of the Arctic facility hummed with an energy never before witnessed in human history. Representatives from Earth stood face to face with delegates from the fractured hegemony, while the Phoenix's crew maintained a watchful presence. Above them, through the transparent dome, the aurora borealis danced across the sky, a reminder that some forces transcend artificial boundaries. Sarah Chen stepped forward to address the assembled species, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. What our ancestors left us wasn't just technology or weapons, she began, activating a holographic display that filled the chamber. They left us a choice. The display showed the greater threat the precursors had foreseen, massive entities moving between galaxies, consuming everything in their path. The cosmic devourers, as the ancient texts named them, had already destroyed countless civilizations across the universe. The precursors didn't fail, Torres added, standing beside Sarah. They succeeded in creating two approaches to survival. Earth's adaptability and innovation. The hegemony's unity and coordination. Apart, we're vulnerable. Together. He let the implications sink in. Vex Thor, now leading the progressive faction of the hegemony, moved forward. His once proud bearing was tempered by humility learned through defeat. Our ways brought order, but at the cost of stagnation. We see now what we lost by forcing uniformity. The Phoenix's Captain Rodriguez shared the data they'd gathered during their mission. Dozens of species, each with unique perspectives and capabilities, all suppressed under hegemony rule. Diversity isn't a weakness, she declared. It's our greatest strength against what's coming. As if responding to the gravity of the moment, the ancient facilities across Earth activated simultaneously, revealing their final secret. They weren't just defensive installations or repositories of knowledge, they were pieces of a vast mechanism, designed to be completed only when humanity was ready. Sarah's team decoded the purpose. It's a network, she explained, excitement breaking through her professional demeanor. When fully activated, it can link minds across species, allowing us to share knowledge and experiences while maintaining our individuality. The implications were staggering. The precursors hadn't been building weapons, they'd been creating a way for diverse species to truly understand each other, to combine their strengths without losing what made them unique. Torres saw the military applications immediately. Against the devourers, we'll need both hegemony discipline and human creativity. This network could let us coordinate on a scale never before possible. But activating the network required something unprecedented: trust. Each species would have to voluntarily join, sharing their knowledge and experiences while respecting others' independence. It was exactly the opposite of the hegemony's forced assimilation. The debate raged for days. Some hegemony factions refused to abandon their old ways. Certain Earth nations feared losing their identity. But as the Phoenix's crew shared stories of what they'd seen in their journey, the potential in unity, the strength in diversity, attitudes began to shift. The turning point came when Sarah discovered the final message from the precursors, hidden in the deepest layer of Earth's archives: to our children, all our children. We did not hide to abandon you, but to give you time to find your own way. Earth and hegemony, innovation and order, freedom and unity. Only together can you face what comes. Only together can you surpass what we could achieve. The first test of the network was voluntary, linking Earth's leaders with former hegemony worlds. The experience transformed both sides. Hegemony representatives felt the exhilarating rush of human creativity and freedom. Earth's leaders understood the profound beauty in coordinated action and shared purpose. As the network expanded, something remarkable happened. Rather than losing their individuality, each species found their unique traits enhanced by understanding others. Human innovation accelerated when combined with hegemony organization. Hegemony efficiency improved when infused with human adaptability. The Phoenix, now upgraded with combined human and hegemony technology, led the first deep space expedition to track the devourers. Captain Rodriguez's crew, once Earth's greatest defenders, became pioneers of the new cooperation. We didn't just survive, Sarah told Torres as they watched the Phoenix depart. We showed the galaxy a new way forward. She held up a piece of the original Arctic facility, its surface still gleaming after millennia. Our ancestors would be proud. Torres nodded, his eyes on the stars. They gave us the tools, but we chose how to use them. That's the real victory. The final activation of the complete network created something unprecedented, a civilization that celebrated differences instead of erasing them, that found strength in diversity rather than uniformity. As the first signs of the Devourers appeared at the galaxy's edge, humanity stood ready not as conquerors or saviors, but as part of something greater. Earth had not just defended itself, it had helped forge a new kind of unity, one built on freedom and mutual respect rather than force and submission. The ancient precursors' experiment had succeeded beyond their wildest dreams, creating not one perfect solution, but two complementary paths that, when joined freely, opened up possibilities neither side could have achieved alone. As the combined fleet of Earth and former hegemony ships prepared to face humanity's greatest challenge, they carried with them a profound truth: the strongest force in the universe wasn't technology or military might, but the power of diverse minds working together toward a common goal. The war was over. The real adventure was just beginning.